back with another episode. We're Talk Miley to Me.
I'm Becky.
This time Becky started it. I'm Molly. And we are your favorite Miley Cyrus podcast.
Your favorite
back with
one
another regular episode.
Mm-hmm.
Favorites. And if there's any others out there, well,
healthy
anyway,
we can't be a monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah. We're not Ticketmaster.
We can be.
We can be. So yeah, we're excited. I'm excited about this episode. We've been doing a lot of deep dive content, and which is really fun, but in a different way.
Yeah.
This is just more of a I feel like these episodes or regular conversations are just like chill girl time, like just yapping.
It's true, just some girls yapping, and it's like fun to talk about current events because I don't have anyone else to talk about them with.
I mean, your roommate.
Well, but she doesn't get it like you do.
It's true.
You know,
there's like specific ones.
Exactly.
For sure. Yeah, that's understandable. So I guess we should start this episode off on a sad note about the LA, California fires. What the hell?
Yeah, I think it was one of our last episodes we did talk about it, but like it's crazy how fast the media moves because like we're already done covering it and like the worst just began people trying to pick their lives back up. So
yeah, I think about it and I can't imagine like being in a house, seeing a fire from a distance and having to evacuate immediately, not knowing if you're going to be able to go back to that place the way it was ever again.
No.
And you know, a lot of people get upset and they're like, well, they're all rich. Everyone, I mean, not everyone, but they talk, you know, about how when the headlines are up about Leighton Meester and Adam Brody lost their house, and I think Spencer Pratt and Heidi Montag also did. And all these celebrities that like their house burned to the ground. And we even experienced it as a fan base with Miley's house burning down in 2018. You know, there's always people that are like, why are you covering this? There's people that actually don't have anything. They don't have anything to fall back on, which is, I understand that point. But I think what it comes down to is the fact that, one, they're celebrities. So, of course, they're going to get more coverage. That's just the way life works. Two, they're still losing a huge part of themselves that they will never get back, that money cannot bring back.
Yes.
Which is memories, items, you know, a lot of sentimental things that they'll never be able to see again or use again or whatever it is. I think that's the saddest part is like losing the sentimental items or some people losing their pets or whatever it is.
Yeah.
That's more sad than the financials. And I understand that's a big part of it, but I don't think we should discredit celebrities from feeling that sadness just because they have money.
Fully agreed.
So I wanted to start that off with that's my opinion on, you know, celebrities enthralled and all of this devastation that the fires have caused. But damn, Miley had to evacuate her house again.
I know. I can only imagine like the memories that was bringing back to have to do that again and to have to like go through that again.
The trauma that it brought back up. I mean, I remember back to that time, like just how devastating it was for her. But luckily she didn't lose her animals.
Right.
She was filming Black Mirror at the time, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Liam Hemsworth saved all their animals, and she posted a photo on her Instagram of her photo of her house at the time in 2018. But she said she actually posted this on her Miley Cyrus Foundation account, which I thought was really, I mean, it's the Miley Cyrus Foundation is so new still. And when I saw this post first come up, I thought it was from her actual account.
I did too. She shared it on her personal story, I'm pretty sure.
For sure, yeah. But I do love that she used her charitable platform to help push it too.
Yeah.
She writes, "This image hits me hard in the heart today. This is a photo taken of my front porch in 2018 after losing our house in the Woolsey fires. It's a feeling you don't ever forget. Walking up to the door you would pass through daily, looking forward to being greeted by the ones you love like you always do, but instead being met by a pile of ash and rubble. My heart aches for those who are experiencing this devastation firsthand, and I cry for my city. It's beyond heartbreaking. Los Angeles represents living the dream, and the reality today is wreckage and destruction. And then she shared some links to organizations that she is personally supporting, including the Malibu Foundation that she helped launch in 2018. And then she signed it, love always, Miley. But it was a very well written post, I
Oh,
think.
yeah. Yeah.
And like I said, that image is just like, it's incredible in a sense that's very sad,
Right.
but
Right.
I think it does represent kind of what people might go through with these fires is like literally they'll lose everything, but all they have left is just the ability to keep moving forward and trying to stay optimistic about life as they try to piece everything back together.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. Yeah. Just reading that and looking at the photo again is giving me the chills. I can't even imagine. So I'm so sorry if anyone listening, if this like affected you in any way. My God.
Like I said, I can't even imagine. And us living in the Midwest, we've never had to deal with anything like this. I guess the closest thing would be like tornadoes.
Yeah.
I did go through that when I was younger. Our house got completely wiped out with a tornado. But like I was so young, and I mean, I'm sure my parents really that hit them hard, but I was like 4 years old. So I was just upset about my toys being completely taken away from me.
Yeah.
But just losing all your memories, and it is really sad. So, yeah, like you said, if you were affected by these fires or are being currently affected by them, our hearts are with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't imagine. There was a lot of rumors going around that Miley's house burned down again, that the Hannah Montana house burned down, and all of those came back as false rumors.
Yeah.
From what I've heard up to this point is that Miley's houses are fine, which is good to hear. Because I was like, oh my God, is she gonna lose another property? Like, is she gonna lose another house?
I know, dude. Can you imagine? There probably are people that this did happen to them for the second time, though.
Yeah.
I know. I was
Yep.
really. I have like so many people at work that have friends and family in LA, so we were just like constantly waiting for updates about everyone. Like, and everyone was always giving me like, well, I heard that Miley's house is still fine. Miley's house is still fine. And I'm like, thank you, everybody. Thank you for these updates.
Thanks for the updates.
Yeah.
I had a lot of people sending me that her house wasn't fine because there were so many rumors going around
Mm-hmm.
about the Hannah Montana house burning down. That was a big one I got. But like I said, that ended up not being true. So that is a silver lining there, I guess. It makes me think like, does she ever reevaluate living in California, you think?
I know. I know.
Like, I know Brandi lives in Nashville. And also, the week this happened, Tish conveniently was in Nashville visiting Brandi.
Oh, that's
So
right.
weird.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened with Miley. I don't know where she went to, or maybe she went to like a family friend of Max's or something. I have no idea. But
Her and Max aren't living
yeah,
together, are they?
I think they are.
I think.
I think there was reports that came out like a year or so ago that they moved in together.
And he moved into her house, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I mean, hell, if I was Max, I'd be like, we moving into your house, right?
Yes. Right. One of them. She's like, you can stay in the storage units.
Which is like way better than his house, I'm sure.
Still, yeah.
In other news, Meet Miley Cyrus is on Billboard's 100 Biggest Albums of the 21st Century, and it is her only album that's on this list. How do we feel about that? Yeah. So, number one is Morgan Wallen's Dangerous album. So I just really wonder like how this is measured. I'm guessing from sales, right?
Well, I guess.
I feel like it's from sales because then number 2 is 21 by Adele. 3 is Fearless by Taylor Swift. Number 5 is Hamilton, like the Broadway soundtrack. And like for example, number 9 is All the Right Reasons by Nickelback. Like I do know that these were like huge albums, depending on how you feel about them. They did commercially well.
Morgan Wallen has 2 of the top 10.
Dude,
Bro.
let's say what you want about him. He sells some freaking
He
records.
really
Like,
does.
and it's like Taylor Swift. She also has 2 of the top 10. I mean, but I guess Meet Miley Cyrus did do so well, but
It's on there though. It is. It's the Hannah Montana 2 / Me Miley Cyrus double album, which I mean, I guess it has to
that
be,
did do
but
very. And we just did our like deep dive, a 2007 deep dive, and I mean, we just talked about how people went bananas for this album.
yeah.
But isn't that so funny? That's her only one.
That is actually really crazy. So what? She's number 57.
I mean, at least she made it.
At least she made it.
And that is a legend album.
No, and it is, and it really is. And I'm trying to think, like, I think that the only other one that I would expect would be Bangers, but did it actually do that well in the general public for full album?
Yeah, and especially like at the time, you know, this is probably upon debut.
Probably.
Like maybe how many sold in the first week or something.
You're right. You're probably right. The thing about our girl is like I don't feel like many of the general public does not know her album tracks.
It's true.
Right? Like she's good at the singles. General public eats those up, but I don't think that anyone goes towards her discography for whatever reason.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe in more recent times they have.
Yes, I agree.
But up until I would argue Plastic Hearts, people did not go for her like tracks, her album tracks.
Yeah.
Because I think of like Jaded. Well, I guess that's a single technically, but it did like Jaded didn't do as well as Flowers, but I feel like Jaded gets a lot of love for people that actually give her lesser known songs a chance. And then I also think of like with Plastic Hearts, Angels Like You was not an official single at first, but then it became one because people really liked the song.
Yeah.
And I was going to say, this is a great time to plug the fact that on Patreon this week, we are doing a draft, if you want to call it that, of the Hannah Montana 2 soundtrack / Meet Miley Cyrus. So Becky and I are going to be battling it out on the Patreon, trying to pick, I say in quotes, pick our team.
Yeah.
for this album. We've never done something like this before, so I think it'll be really fun and just gives us another reason to talk more about this iconic album.
For sure, because I'll never be done.
It's true. What else has happened? We're kind of like doing a little catch up on some news we have missed in the past couple weeks, but apparently Miley is appearing in SNL's 50 Years of Music documentary that's coming out on the 27th of this month. So
that's next week.
Kind of right after this episode drops. I don't know what the extent will be for that. I wonder if she's going to be doing any interviews or if it's just like here's a clip of her singing on SNL.
Right.
And that's her appearance in it.
I wonder what that is going to be about. I haven't even heard anything about this. And I was like, that's kind of crazy, but I think that Miley has had like pretty iconic moments on SNL. I just looked it up before we recorded. She has appeared on it 10 times. For being 30 years old, I think that's a lot. And I think 10? Only one time she hosted and did not perform, yeah.
What time was that? Do you know?
The very first one in 2011, it just said that Miley, March 5th, 2011, Miley made her hosting debut in season 36.
No, I remember that. She had the long extensions still in, and she did her SNL monologue. Her monologue was iconic. She talked about Charlie Sheen in it. I mean, it was very
Yes,
2011.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But at least I didn't date a porn star and tell everyone I'm winning.
We'll have to do like an SNL episode
We should.
sometime.
We should.
Add that to our ever-growing list of things to do. But wow, 10 times is crazy.
Yeah. Maybe they're counting it that like, hold on. Yeah, 10th appearance. Maybe some of them she just was like a musical, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure some of those just count as like her actually just performing, like as a musical guest.
Yeah. But 10 is a lot. And then also I know that they had this one sketch called the Miley Cyrus show, and they would really horribly do a impression of Miley and then have like Justin Bieber on, and so that's fun that they did that.
I also love that she like played into it a little bit, because I think she went on one time and she was Justin Bieber and they were acting like her.
Yes.
What have you been up to lately?
You know, I'm just chilling right now. Wink, cocky nod, point.
Wow.
I love when people like play into the meme of it all.
And like they just had Ariana do the impression of Miley. Like I think they like her, and also she's like an NBC girl, so they just love her.
She really is. I mean, yeah, she was signed to Peacock.
Yeah.
She had that deal. She had to do like so many different appearances with Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully it's more than just, some clips from that we've already seen before. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. I forgot to mention with the fire topic that we were talking about. Apparently the last Showgirl premiere was canceled due to the fires, right? And Miley was supposedly going to attend that.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
I know.
And also on that topic, I know we're kind of beating a dead horse because we're a little late to talking about this, but I saw a lot of people like, oh no, this means the new Miley era is canceled.
I know. I saw a lot of that too.
But guys,
no.
I don't think we should even think like that.
No.
Because although it might be true, you never know with her. Like we have trust issues. We know like things. Remember, she's Miley Cyrus. Like she has changed her plans before. I think that number one, this tragedy like trumps everything.
Yes.
So it's like you can't really complain about that when in the grand scheme of it all, like with everything else going on.
Right.
But we'll have to see, because it is. We're recording this on the 20th, and we have not heard any information about her new era, new album, or anything.
I know, and every day I wake up and there's a tweet that said Miley's announcing something today. Never does.
We can't believe that.
Never does.
We can't trust these. We can't trust these hoes on Twitter. Okay, we need to watch a little clip because so Andrew Wyatt, right? Wyatt, not Watt. Andrew Wyatt's the one that did Beautiful That Way with Miley, right? And he was on some kind of interview praising Miley. They asked him, how was it working with Miley? And guess who was sitting right there at that same round table? Her ex, Andrew Watt, the one that did a lot of Plastic Hearts songs.
Wow.
He's kind of an unconfirmed ex.
I was thinking more
of a potential fling type of thing.
Okay, like they were caught cozying up together.
Yeah. Right. And I mean, you could probably, guys, if you look on Twitter and search for a thread on Andrew Watt and Miley, there's probably that somewhere if you want to do some research. I know there's a bunch of quote evidence that backs up that they were a fling or a thing. It's also really hard to tell, but this freaking video clip is so funny because of Andrew Watt's face. So we have to watch it.
Great.
Guys, if you're not watching this and you're listening, You should watch it, but either way, you get to hear Andrew. You get to hear Andrew Wyatt, really praise Miley.
What was it like to work with Miley? I know you've worked with her before. You as well.
Yes. Yeah, she's amazing, and like the thing about Miley is like every syllable that she sings sounds like her life depends on it, and that's what's so incredible about her as a singer. And the other thing about her is that she's still so young, but she's had such a storied career already, and so there's like so many layers to her voice. And in that way, her voice has the same level of like gravitas that Pamela's character, who's playing someone who's way further down the road in years than Miley is now, but it can actually carry that, so it can actually tell that same story, which is just part of the phenomenon that is Miley,
So first, love him. Love
Nailed
that he's
it.
always rooting for Miley, and he's such a good producer. Like, we need them. I'm pretty sure he is like confirmed to be on her upcoming album, right?
Yeah.
That was like speculated and confirmed or something. But he is just a great human being, and he's always produced sick music. But Andrew Watt's face.
That was better than I could have ever imagined. He's
Wasn't
like,
his face so... Yeah.
okay, guys, I'm so sorry if you're driving right now. Pull over and watch this.
And, if you're on Spotify, this will be video. And if you're on YouTube, of course, it's video. But the other platforms, unfortunately, there's no video. But yeah, I mean, and if you're really like a huge Miley fan, you might have already seen this clip on Twitter too.
Yeah.
Because it's been out for a minute, but I loved it.
Yeah, that is iconic. But back to the things that he was saying about her, like it's just so amazing to hear other people talk about her like that. He said sings every syllable like her life depends on it.
That's a good way to explain like her singing style.
Yes.
And when he talks about how like she's so young but her voice sounds so much older. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It has a lot of like trauma. Like it has a it has a lot of emotion behind it.
Yes.
Very naturally.
Yes. In literally everything she sings, like even these poppy hits. And it makes so much sense too that like it seems that a lot of the songs that she personally writes are slow ballads. She loves to sing those, and that's like very much the style of the voice, and that's the things that he was saying is like it matches all of her ballads, but you can also take those things and be like, no, because I hear what he's saying even in Give Me What I Want, even in Handstand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's so true. Yeah, he was spitting some facts.
He
there.
was.
Something else I saw on Twitter / Instagram. Do you remember Sheyne Thomas?
Of course I do.
Yeah, he was, if you guys don't know, he was Miley's really close friend, I would say, starting in circa 2012, 2013. And then over the years since, they just like grew apart. Understandably, I think, I mean, I don't know the full story. I'm assuming that as she ducked away from partying, that might have had something to do with it.
Yeah.
I'm only guessing. I have no idea.
Sure.
But he's pretty active on Instagram, and he did like a ask me a question. And of course, a lot of the questions are about what happened with you and Miley, because, that's probably where a lot of his following is from.
Of course.
And I just thought it was really funny. So we have some screenshots of this, but somebody said, what happened with you and Cyrus? He said, what didn't happen? And then they said, can you give some insight as to what happened with you and MC? And he said, I think everyone can understand that relationships evolve and people grow and things change. That's my grown answer. I respect what we had enough to not get into any more detail than that, especially in this format.
That's kind of crazy.
So what? That's kind of some subtle shade.
No, it
That's
kind of
like
is.
Because what he could have just said was the first part, and he could have just left out that's my grown answer.
Right. to say that there's a
Like-
messy answer that he wishes he could give.
Yeah, like what? And then somebody said, "Do you regret selling Miley's info to TMZ and others? You were friends." Which that's like, that's someone just that's not like
Rage baiting.
factually proven. That's rage baiting, yeah. He said this one's LOLZ ... no regrets. That literally never happened. Which, it's like that's just like you said, rage baiting. So then somebody also asked, "Are you still friends with Miley?" He said, "Not really, no shade, no tea. Will love her forever, heart."
Okay.
So such different
That's like a different
Like-
vibe than he just said.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm actually dying to know. Great. Now I'm dying to know.
I know, I'm so nosy. Like, I need to know. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But leave us a comment. What do you guys think about the Shine? Am I even saying his name right?
I
Is it
always
Shane?
thought it was Shane.
That makes more sense. Shane, I think when I saw his name, firstly, when I was like 15, I definitely thought it was like Cheyne.
Yeah.
I definitely, and then over the years, it just progressively still was not said right. But let us know in the comments what you think of this friendship and what do you think happened. We don't know for sure, but it's fun to speculate.
Of course it is. That's why we're here. It's literally why we're here.
Literally. Allie and AJ went on Call Her Daddy recently, and Allie confirmed that the role of Hannah Montana was offered to her.
Is it true that you were going to possibly be Hannah Montana?
I mean, yeah.
You-
I mean, it's funny. Like
She had the offer.
I had the offer, and it was Phil hadn't ended at that point. It was like they knew that Phil, I think, was on the way out, or had told us like, we might not be doing a third season. And Gary, who was the head of the channel, Gary was like, this pilot has come in, and we think that you're really perfect for it.
Oh, wow. Imagine how... Wow.
Different things would be.
The whole world. But...
I mean, yeah, obviously everything happens for a reason. I think that I personally think it would not be as successful if Miley was not Hannah Montana. Because she's like the perfect person for it. But also, though, I love Allie and AJ. It's just, very weird.
I forget the impact that Allie and AJ had on me as a young child. I literally
So
forgot
much.
how much I liked them because when I went to see them at Lollapalooza in 2021, I remember I was telling my dad, he was like asking me about my day, and I was like, oh, at first I saw Allie and AJ, and he was like, oh, those are those like blonde girls that play guitar. And I was like, how do you know that? And he's like, you loved them as a kid. And I'm like, oh my God, you're right.
Oh, your dad is so sweet.
What?
That he remembers that.
I know, right? Such a girl dad. What
He
else
is.
were
He
they
really is.
on? What did they get casted as instead? Because I know they were in that movie Cowbells. Was there something else?
Allie was in Phil of the Future.
Oh
And-
my God. Duh.
She started that first. And then I think it turned into Cowbells from there. Because I think Allie was like, hey, I have a sister.
Right.
But I think she said in this interview that the reason why Allie declined it was because it wasn't with her sister and she wanted to do the music thing with her sister. Like she was very headstrong on the fact that they were going to do music together and this wasn't going to allow that to happen. She didn't want to be known music wise as someone else and it can be confusing with her own music with AJ,
Oh, wow.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But I'm doing music as Allie, and this might be really confusing. And I was like, how does AJ relate to this? And then they literally said, well, then AJ could play the best friend part.
Lily.
Lily.
Well, missing the
But,
whole point of
yeah.
living a double life, but that's...
I know.
Maybe
And
it's
she
best
obviously
didn't
didn't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So
She never got it. She didn't get it.
she really didn't get it. But then like she ended up going on tour with Miley,
That's so
Both of
true.
them did.
Yeah, you're right.
and they ended up becoming really good friends. So everything works out the way it's supposed to,
Exactly.
So I have a couple Sorry We're Cyrus clips,
Okay.
which guys, if you don't know, which you probably should know if you're listening to this podcast, but Sorry We're Cyrus is Brandi Cyrus and Tish Cyrus's podcast. And they have been spilling some, as usual, they usually spill some Miley tea, some
Yeah.
more Miley knowledge that we get to pocket. But let's start with this one with Vidget first. So if you don't know, Vidget is one of Miley's longest, good, closest friends. He's also one of her photographers, and he has been in her life since I feel like around 2011 with the Can't Be Tamed Gypsy Heart tour, maybe Wonder World tour. That sounds a little bit more right. I think maybe he started as assisting her stylist on that tour is what he said. But he went on their podcast, which I was so excited about
so fun.
Yeah, I love his work. I mean, I have
That's
one of Vidget's photography books.
With Miley on the cover.
Miley on the cover, of course. She kind of gave him, no, I don't want to say that. That's a very controversial take. She didn't give him the career he has, but she definitely helped him blossom into what he really wanted to do, which was be a photographer. I think she let him take photos of her when he was first starting. And obviously, if you're taking photos of Miley Cyrus, one of the most famous people in the world, I think that does help your career.
Yes, for sure.
As a celebrity photographer. Anyway, he went on this podcast and they asked him, like, what's one of your favorite stories about Miley? Or maybe they asked what's one of your favorite celebrity stories. But of course, he's like, it has to be with Miley because they've done so much together. And do you remember that she had a dog called Kate Moss?
Yes.
Do you remember her talking about that? I think she's briefly mentioned it in interviews around
just a
like
little bit.
Plastic hearts. Yeah, she talks about how she had this like dog named Kate Moss that was just kind of like gross. He talks about the journey, like how they found Kate Moss and like what that was like.
Oh my god.
So
during the pandemic or like right around the end of that or something, we were filming the Midnight Sky music video. And I was helping her with all of that. And we had all of this stuff going on. It was like a huge budget music video, stages.
It was crazy.
We had like, lighting. We had different sets, just so much going on.
Animals.
Oh, it was incredible. They were like these big
plastic
prop animals that were painted for the gods. Like, it was incredible. It was just unbelievable. So in the middle of all of this happening, and Miley was directing the video, which was just unbelievably amazing. But she was also kind of like learning as she was going through the whole thing, and I was kind of helping her with different parts of it. And it came to the part where they were doing the pre-light. So everything was getting set, and that is like the most important part where you just need to make sure that every single thing dialed in, so that when you come back on the next day, on the actual shoot day, you just like go through
Ready
it.
to go.
And it was like a packed schedule. There were so many scenes, there were so many shots. So right as we're like getting into the like nitty gritty of the pre-light, Miley's like, don't you think we need to adopt a dog?
Don't even get me started.
Oh my god.
And of course, I love to just like egg that on.
Oh, you really do. That dog was my worst freaking nightmare.
Which one was it?
Ziggy.
Kate Moss.
Kate Moss.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Moss.
Kate Moss.
That's right.
That's what I
Kate
was thinking.
Moss.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Do we have a picture of her? Because
Oh, I'm sure we can find one to
We need
paste
to find a
in.
picture of Kate Moss.
Yeah, definitely.
it was not okay.
It was not okay.
It was not
She
okay.
like went in the middle of the pre-light to this animal shelter where she found like the most handicapped, the
did.
most
Unattractive.
like, unattractive, smelled like
I mean, it was
unreal.
None of it was okay.
I'm dying.
I think they end up talking about later that they ended up giving the dog like back to an organization because it was just a lot to take care of. Like, this dog was like, very handicapped.
I just looked up a photo of this poor woman Kate Moss. She doesn't look like a
Oh my
Kate Moss
God.
at all, but she's not that bad looking.
I know. Well, I think it's because they talked about later in the interview, it was a little bit too long for this, but they talked about how the dog would just like randomly go number 2, like in the middle of the set. And it was like big number 2s.
Oh no. Why did she name it
That-
Kate Moss?
Probably for the irony of it, I'm sure, you know? Like that's very
the
ironic.
funniest part of it.
Yeah. I mean, it's so like her to be like, let's just go adopt a dog.
Yeah.
Something else that happened on Sorry We're Cyrus, and this is very lighthearted. This actually just happened this past week, but Brandi and Tish are talking about their Australia men because, as we know, Tish is with Dominic Purcell, who's from Australia.
Yep.
And then Brandi actually just started dating a guy named Matt, and he's also from Australia.
No
I don't know
way.
if you. She's been kind of like secretive about it, but not really because she tags them on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, and they do like a subtle shade about Liam Hemsworth.
Oh, let's hear it.
I mean, I have my hopes up for Matt.
We can't say his name.
Why?
Well, I
It's
guess
on
we can.
Instagram.
I do tag him on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? He's Australian. I'm not going to rag on American men, but
But
Australian men
well,
are just different.
not all of them.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, that's true. Oh my God.
Okay, let's moving on from that subject.
They just giggle. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's so true. They do go after the Australians. Even Cody Simpson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Liam, Cody.
I would if I could. Let me meet one. Let me add them.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, they have these men in the palm of their hand.
Right.
They can do that. Yeah.
They're Cyrus.
They're Cyruses, yeah. Okay, I saw a tweet that we have to talk about that I thought was so funny. And it says, I hate when non-smilers make fun of Max. Like, that's family business only. Stay out of it. At
Yeah, it's true.
Saltburns, that made me LOL so much that I had to grab it to talk about this. Because it's true. Like, you can't make fun of Max's hair and, like, anything about him unless you're a smiler. And it's made
It's
with
not
love.
for you.
Like, we do it with love. Yeah, it's not
for you. Yeah.
It's family business only.
That is so funny.
Okay, last thing I have is I found this Hannah Montana Best of Both Worlds country mix that a fan actually just made. I think today I saw it. Yeah. I want to say a shout out to @thehorrorboy on Instagram. He tweeted it, but I'm going to share this with you because he made a mix of the Best of Both Worlds but made it country, and he said that it's a gift to every Hannah fan. I hope you dance and sing along like we would have in 2006. So I thought we could like play a little
Oh
bit
my
of it. and-
God.
Oh yeah, come on. You get the limo out front. Ooh, hottest styles, every shoe, every color.
Yup.
Yeah, when you make me sick and be kind of fun. It's really you, but no one ever discovers.
I'm surprised that
Sorry.
it took so long to get this and that it had to be fan made and that they didn't just like make it back then, because the whole premise of the show is that she's a Tennessee girl. And in real life, she's
True,
a Tennessee
yeah.
girl.
Yeah, they should have done something like this for the movie. Like,
Totally.
I know like season 3, I know there was like a little bit of a mix around this time that was different, right?
Yeah.
They like redid the intro, but this has more of a twang on it.
Yeah, it does.
But anyway, shout out to the horror boy on Instagram.
Shout out. Thank you so much for bringing that to our
that was-
attention.
Yeah, I thought it was really cute. Any other topics that we have missed with Miley or anything you want to talk about?
That's all I've got. We haven't been getting that much. These are good scraps that you found. I'm just waiting
Yeah.
every day for announcements. Because I think
Me
that we
too.
have seen like actual real leaks that should be in the first quarter.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. I'm sure yeah, like I said, the fire situation, like who knows if that's impacting this at all. The Grammys is coming up on the 2nd.
Guys,
And I know they're still
Go ahead.
having the Grammys. I was gonna say I know they're still having the Grammys. I don't know if she would attend. She didn't really get nominated for much except for the Beyonce collab.
Yeah, but I can totally see that being a performance at the Grammys.
Oh, we can only hope. That would be such
I
a good performance.
know.
We need
would
it
be
live.
We need it live. There's literally no better time because everyone was pissed that she didn't do it at the halftime show. Sorry, that's not meant
Yeah.
for a football game. I'm not your
Yeah.
football player. I'm your shotgun rider.
True.
Like, that would have brought the vibes down.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a good point. I was hoping that she was going to be there singing at the halftime show, but
No,
it definitely
I knew
wasn't the
she
vibe.
wouldn't. I knew that she wouldn't. It wasn't the
I knew
vibe.
she wouldn't either.
And she sang almost every song from Cowboy Carter except for that one. There's no way they're going to let this go and not sing it live.
We can only hope.
So, just saying.
Well, next week, guys, we're going to be having our part 2 of the 2007 deep dive come out, unless there's some crazy emergency announcement and then we have to
Yes.
push it back. It's not looking too good right now, but who knows?
Who knows?
According to Stan Twitter, she can announce this any day.
Any day. Yep.
But until we get some big announcements or anything substantial, we will be pushing out our part 2 of the 2007 deep dive next week. And we also have some more exciting things happening as we go into February.
Yeah.
So stay tuned.
Should be good stuff. Now on to Patreon. We're going to dig back
we're gonna
up.
be moving.
Meet Miley Cyrus. The 57th
we're moving.
biggest hit of the 21st century. Biggest album.
Yeah.
57th.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, this kind of did work out. Yeah, we're moving this party over there. If you want to support us, you get a bunch of extra content and you get to help us pay for some of the programs we use to make this podcast happen. But yeah, guys, until next time or until you're over on the Patreon, we will catch you next time. Bye.
Bye.